They left San Francisco on a July afternoon, the kind where the fog clings to the bay like a shroud. Claire, 17, slouched in the back seat, earbuds in, ignoring her brother Ben, 14, who was sketching in his notebook. Their mom, Sarah, gripped the wheel, her knuckles pale, her eyes fixed on the road like she was chasing something or running from it. The car was stuffed with boxes, their lives packed into cardboard. No one spoke about the divorce or the letter. It came a week ago, postmarked from a place called Ashwood, Massachusetts, handwritten, ink smudged. It spoke of a death, Sarah's aunt, a woman Claire had never heard of. It left them a house, deep in the woods, in a town Sarah hadn't mentioned in years. Claire didn't understand why they had to go. Sarah only said it was a chance to start over, but her voice cracked when she said it, and her hand shook when she folded the letter away. The drive took 3 days. Cities faded to suburbs, then to endless forests. The trees leaned too close to the road. The sky grew heavy, the air thick with pine, and something sour, like rotting moss. Ashwood appeared without warning. A cluster of clapboard houses, a general store, a church with a steeple that sagged like a broken spine. No welcome sign, no people on the streets, just eyes watching from behind lace curtains. As their car rolled past, the house waited at the end of a dirt lane, half eaten by ivy, its windows dark as sockets, too big, too old. The roof groaned under the weight of years. Inside, the air smelled of mildew and wax. No Wi-Fi, no cell signal, just creaking floors, cobwebs thick as lace, and a hum Claire couldn't place, like a pulse beneath the boards. Ben found the tunnel on the 3rd day. It was hidden past the property line, where the trees grew in a perfect row. Branches twisted into shapes that hurt to look at. A stone ring half buried in the earth, choked with vines and dead leaves. It looked like a mouth, breathing cold, wet air. Claire wanted to leave it alone, but Ben, eyes bright with that kid brother recklessness, grabbed a flashlight and climbed inside. She followed, cursing under her breath. The tunnel was narrow, its stone walls slick with moisture. The air tasted of rust and decay. Their footsteps echoed, but the sound came back wrong. Too sharp, too close. Symbols carved the walls, circles inside triangles, crosses wrapped in thorns, a tree with roots reaching upward, like fingers clawing at the sky. Claire's flashlight caught deep scratches in the stone, frantic, like something had tried to claw its way out. Deeper in, the tunnel widened, signs of something recent. Black candles melted into waxy pools. Ribbons, stiff, dark, draped over animal bones. Rabbits, maybe, or something bigger. The bones hung from twine, arranged in spirals around a low stone slab. The air grew colder, heavier, like it was pressing into their lungs. Claire grabbed Ben's arm and told him they were leaving. Now, that night, Ben woke screaming. Said someone was outside his window, a figure, barefoot, standing in the tall grass, staring up at him with eyes that didn't blink. Claire checked. No footprints, just a bundle of twigs on the porch, tied with red string, wet with something that wasn't water. The townspeople came the next day. Not all at once, Not knocking. They just appeared. A woman at the market, smile too wide, staring at Sarah like she knew her. A man at the gas station, voice low, said he remembered Sarah, said she used to sing to the trees. The names kept circling. Hollowell, Greeley, Ash, over and over, like a chant Claire couldn't escape. Claire started digging. The town library sagged under its own weight. Shelves crammed with handwritten records. Births, marriages, deaths, the same names. Over and over. No outsiders, no new blood, just a family tree that grew inward, its branches choking each other. And at the center, always, Eunice Ash. Her name appeared in a deed from 1690, a sermon from 1783, a newspaper clipping from 1911. Always described the same. Pale as bone, hair black as pitch, eyes that saw too much. In a photograph from 1924, grainy, faded. She stood beside Claire's great-grandmother. Her face hadn't changed. Not a line, not a wrinkle. She looked wrong, like a wax figure left too long in the sun. Ben started talking in his sleep. Not words, a chant. Low, rhythmic, like a prayer. Claire recorded it, hands shaking. An online translator flagged a dead dialect. Early colonial English. The phrase meant, the roots demand return. Sarah stopped eating. Her eyes sank. At night, Claire found her whispering at the edge of the woods. The leaves moved, like they were listening. Once, Sarah's breath fogged the air, even though the night was warm. She said she was just getting air, but her hands were caked with dirt, her nails torn. Claire and Ben went back to the tunnel. New passages, deeper, colder. The symbols grew thicker. Roots twisted through the ceiling, thick as arms, pulsing faintly. Bones littered the floor. Some animal, some not. They crumbled underfoot. The tunnel opened into a chamber. Vast, wrong. Slits in the ceiling let in threads of light. The walls were carved with scenes. People kneeling before a tree, hands bleeding into the soil. A faceless figure rising from the roots. In the center stood a statue. Not a tree, but something that wanted to be one. Its branches were limbs, its roots were veins, and its face, because it had a face, was Sarah's. Carved in stone so old it should have crumbled. The air was heavy with the iron tang of blood. That night, Claire confronted her mother. Sarah broke. Her voice was a whisper, raw and jagged. She said she was taken from Ashwood at 9, after her mother vanished into the woods. The state sent her far away, to San Francisco. But the letter, the house, called her back. Blood doesn't forget, she said. She thought she could protect them. But they were in the soil now. Ashwood wasn't a town. It was a family. Bound by blood. Knit with knots no one could undo. Eunice Ash wasn't a woman. She was a title, a vessel, a root that fed on the town's children. 400 years ago, she struck a bargain beneath the old tree. The town would live, but the roots would feed. Every few decades, a child from outside, brought back to nourish the blood. That night, the woods burned with torchlight. Shadows moved like living things. Chanting rose. Low. Guttural. In the air, in Claire's skull. The townspeople gathered. Barefoot, robed in white. Faces calm, eyes hollow. Hollowell, Greeley, Ash. Ben was gone. Claire ran. Branches clawed her skin. The tunnel gaped wider than before, its stones slick. Warm. Inside, the walls pulsed. Symbols glowed like embers. The chant surged, urging her to kneel, to join. She found the chamber. Ben stood in the center, eyes empty, hands red. The townsfolk surrounded him. Eunice stood behind, skin pale as wax, hair like night. Not old, not young, just wrong. Her hand rested on Ben's shoulder, her fingers too long, her nails black as rot. She turned to Claire, smiled, a wound across her face. Her voice was smooth as water, old as stone. She said Claire had come home, that she should join them, be part of what never dies. Claire stepped forward, heart hammering. She reached for Ben's hand. Their fingers brushed. The chamber screamed. Roots tore through the ceiling, thick, writhing. Their tips dripped black. The townsfolk shrieked, their voices shattered. Eunice's jaw unhinged, too wide. Her howl cracked the stone. Roots lunged, flesh pierced. Bodies dragged screaming into soil. Blood sprayed. Claire's face went hot and wet. She pulled Ben, ran blind. The walls blinked, eyes that weren't there. Roots chased them, grazed her ankles. They stumbled into the night, gasping, covered in blood and earth. The house was silent. Sarah was gone. They stole a car from the general store. Keys still in the ignition. They drove until the trees thinned, until the sky opened. They didn't speak, didn't look back. Months later, in a city far from Ashwood, Claire still dreams of the tunnel, of the roots, of the face that wore her mother's skin. She wakes clawing at sheets, sweating, chant still humming in her skull. Ben doesn't talk much anymore, but at night, when he thinks she's asleep, he whispers. Not to her, to something else. And sometimes, in the dark, Claire hears the roots whisper back.